and welcome to Flagstaff TV. Today we are joined by George Lucan, who is the CEO of Angus Energy. George, thank you very much for joining us today.
Morning, Catherine. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. George, can you tell us a bit more about your webinar that you held last night? What are the key takeaways for investors?
Well, this is to introduce investors to the real commercial proposition of geothermal in the UK, deep geothermal. That's drilling down 5 kilometers to get 200-degree steam and generate electricity at the surface and potentially also produce hydrogen from electrolysis at the surface where we don't have good grid connections. So that was what we were trying to get into investors' mindset. This is a real project. It has been done elsewhere in Europe 6 or 7 times, and we want to turn this into a pipeline of well-designed, well-costed, and exceedingly profitable sort of ventures. So we'd be an originator and operator and licensor, much as we are in oil and gas. We wouldn't be funding this all with Angus equity. We'd be looking for real industry partners and financial partners along the way. So it's neither an insurmountable task for Angus as a company and its resources. In fact, it fits very nicely with our skill space because we're drillers and we also work on gas fields with high pressure and high temperature, and we're going to be experiencing that in geothermal. So that was one of the key takeaways, Catherine. I think the next takeaway is that this is designed to be a modular affair. So we'll be taking incremental risk. It's not an investment by us and our partners, say 10 or 15 million all at one go. It's more of the order of 1 or 2 million, then you check, you reassess with ever greater levels of confidence before you get into the next layer. So traditionally, people have got a bit concerned. Geothermal is considered high cost and high risk. It's neither, and it can be broken down into modular stages where you apply capital in greater and greater amounts as risk diminishes. And I think the third thing to take away is the longevity of these assets. You're building utility style value where you can expect to achieve electrical generation, hydrogen production steadily over 30 years. That's the sort of target life of these sorts of fields, and probably can be extended. We make the point that over in Italy, in Larderello, the field there has been running quite happily for a century. So, and over in California, some of the fields there have been running now for 50 years. So it's not a short-term asset again, but it's not an oil field which might well water out after 5 years. This is an asset which we hope will build lasting value and a premium valuation because of its longevity. And I guess the last takeaway is that we're aligned now with the country's energy requirements. The country, there's going to be a heyday for oil and gas now for the next 2 years. I mean, wonderful prices. But if we look at 3 or 4 years, the sort of difficulties we've been having with regulators and planners in the last 5 years are going to intensify if we sit and do nothing. We just carry on producing hydrocarbons. So it isn't simply that this is a profitable, sensible, manageable affair. It is one which will represent the core long-term value of Angus in 5 years, I've no doubt.
Thank you, George. It sounds like it went very well. Now, before you go, could you let us know how things are going with the reconnection of the Salt Fleet B gas field?
Yes, thanks for asking about that. And I'm happy to say that we remain entirely on budget and on time. All of the equipment there's quite a lot of equipment, is under fabrication in different parts of the UK. And most of the equipment that we were concerned about that's coming in from abroad is either landed or on ship, with the exception of one piece. And we're reasonably confident on the shipping times on that. There are, as everybody knows, haulier issues here when equipment lands, and we've got time to address all of those. So I'm still confident about that mid-February date. I'm hoping that shareholders will start to see more and more heavy equipment and guys in hats moving around with diggers and what you like on site. We'll be able to feed them into Twitter over the next 2 or 3 months and gradually increase everybody's level of confidence and calm that this will be a properly executed program. Thanks.
Thank you, George. Sounds like things are going very well. Thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure, Catherine. Pleasure.
And thank you for watching Flagstaff TV.